I was homeless, I think I'd been on the waiting list with the mental health team for about a year, maybe just under a year. They just kept telling, I'd been back and forward, they just kept telling me that I was on a waiting list and I had to just get on with it and just wait and wait and wait. And waiting is not really an option when someone's homeless debt. That's not really an option.
We had no preconceptions, any sort of set ideas about what the information people might share with us when we set out. So we framed our questions to facilitate conversations that drew out information from people, which started with what was life like before you realised you were faced with a situation of homelessness, right through to what are your aspirations for the future. But what we found in these discussions with people is that people have talked about certain situations leading up towards becoming homeless and realising that they have nowhere to be. There's no place to call home, even for the night, let alone on any sort of temporary or long-term basis.
Emotionally, I'm always drawn to representing underrepresented lives on stage, be that gay people in Norfolk or homeless people. I wanted to put their voices on stages where we're used to seeing middle-class characters or kings and queens, to kind of suggest that homeless people can be just as poetic or heroic or as brave as those kings and queens we're used to seeing on stage. So I've been given audio recordings of interviews that the director has done with several people who are living with homelessness. I've then transcribed those, and then I'm turning those transcriptions into text that will be acted, so just turning them into a more structured story.
Well, we started by consulting with James as to what we thought would be pertinent questions to be asking, and shared those with him, and he thought that we'd covered a lot of the ground. So it's really about stories. We started with where people first felt their story of homelessness began, and then went into more detail from there.
I have been homeless myself, so the project to me rung really true, and I like doing things that I can feel I can feed into and then give something back. I think it's very important that the true voices from the street are heard, and I think that's what really attracted me, because that doesn't really happen very often.
I've found it fascinating, and whereas it's quite upsetting, it's very emotional. It's given me the strength, if you like, not to be frightened of the people, and I've already found that I'm going up to people like the Big Issue seller and other people, like somebody sitting on the street the other day, and I'm starting to talk to them, and I don't mind admitting I was one of those typical people who I didn't really know how to approach them and how to start a conversation. Any one of us is just that tiny moment away. It could happen tomorrow, and we could easily be in that situation, and that's what each of the characters portray, all very differently, but they do clearly tell their story, because James, from the interviews which we've been able to listen to, the audio, James has extracted the essence of the problem.
It wasn't good because he, as his sister living there, his mum living there, sort of thing, and she was really ill. She was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease.
They could have been in your situation and the tables could have been completely reversed. And I hope that this will at least let a couple of people know that actually these are real people too, and they have feelings, they have families, they have, pets and possessions, they have everything that you will have. They maybe just don't have a home.